Hi everybody, this is Santhini from Gauteng, South Africa. Today I'm going to come to you to show you how to make these little embellishments here that I will then fit onto my tags. These are tags that I collaged and then decorated, and they're going to go into my spring journal. So what you need over here is that you could use toilet roll cores. Okay, so what I've done over here is that I've snipped the toilet roll core, I sanitized it, and then I ran it through my cuttle bug. But you can actually just snip it and sanitize it, and you can then place it under some heavy books for it to flatten out, and that should work fine as well. And here, what I've done here with these ones here is that they are actually pill boxes. So we get medication on a monthly basis, and I've just taken the pill box and I've punched some circles out of them, and we can use that as well. The advantage of this is the fact that it's white on this side, but the disadvantage or the downfall is the fact that it is a bit shiny, but we can actually get away from that by sanding it down, and I'll show you that a little bit later on. So what you're going to do, or what you're going to need, is you need to have a 1-inch circle punch. This is a piquet. It's here in South Africa. So you'll need one of that, and then what you will do is that you would then punch some circles out. You need 4 of either the toilet roll core or the pull box. And here you're going to take, if you're using the pull box, what you're going to do is you are going to use a nail file and then just file it down a little bit, and that's just to get rid of the shine. And the reason why we want to do that is so that the glue can actually adhere better onto that. Then you will take your toilet roll cores or your pull box, and now you would notice on some of the toilet roll cores that they might have a layer, overlapping layer. So try to get that overlapping layer on the inside, and you should be fine. And then you can take any glue that you have. I generally use a strong glue, and I suggest that you should use a strong glue. And the reason being is that this cardstock or this card is quite sturdy, and we need something strong to be able to hold it in place. And then you just start gluing the pieces together. So I think I will have to finish this. So once you glue all 4 together, this is how they're going to look. And ensure that you have them as close, or as as close together as possible, meaning that the edges should line up like they line up over here. Okay, and then you can then leave them. What you can do is, I normally will put a clip on it just to keep the edges all together, so that when they dry, they kind of dry all together, and we'll leave that on one side. The next step that you would want to do is you would either want to distress it, meaning you distress the edges, okay, and you can use your distress ink, any color. I use vintage photo, but that's not the only option that you can use. But what I found to be quite nice to use is shoe polish, and you get various different brands, but that's the one I'm using. It's from my local supermarket here in South Africa, so whatever brand works for you. And as you can see, I've got mine for quite a long time, and it's very dry, but nevertheless, let's not waste anything. So what I do is I actually rub my circle through there, and then I try to actually get that shoe polish right into the grooves of that circle there. If you find that your circles are not lined up, you can always take a nail file and file it down so that the circles have lined up, the edges of the circles have lined up. But this one seems to be pretty good. So make sure that that shoe polish is, quite dry, and that you've actually put it into the grooves quite a bit. And what we're trying to achieve here is we're trying to achieve a cohesive look, meaning that if you look at it, it should actually look as if it's one solid piece of wood. That's the look we are trying to achieve. Whether you use use toilet roll cores or your pull box, that's the same effect or result that you are trying to achieve. And it doesn't really matter which one you use, because at the end of it all, you are going to cover these here with some sort of a patterned paper. Okay, so that's how that looks over here. Then what you're going to do next is you're going to cut circles, 2 circles, for example, like that, from any pattern paper that you would like. I'm at the moment using my kit, so you can see that I've actually cut out quite a bit of stuff here in terms of my kits, and this is just part of one of my neutral collage kits, or part of the kit. Haven't printed out everything, and these are the papers that I've actually cut from. So I've cut them out, and I've basically just cut out my circles, or punched out my circles. I'm using very thin paper. This is what we call copy paper here, and I think it's 80 GSM. So in order to be able to get the punch through it, take any paper and double it up, and then place it behind here, the paper that you want to cut, and then punch it, which will give it a much more cleaner edge, because this is quite lightweight paper, and if you don't do that, you're not going to have a very clean edge. Okay, so here's one that we've done. I've done this previously, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to stick, or I'm going to glue the pattern paper around it. The toilet roll core circles are the very same size as the printed pattern circles. The one tip I can give you is that if you're using a paper that has writing on it, ensure that the opposite side is actually the writing, or is facing in the same direction. So for example, in that manner. Otherwise, you're going to have a look where one of your sides is going to be upside down, depending on how you're going to stick it, or you're going to place it on your tag. You don't really need to do the side. I just like doing it. It will lay flat on your tag, but your tag moves around, and that is the reason why I like doing both sides. So what you're going to do now is you're going to leave this piece, let it dry off completely, and then this is a piece that I've had for a while. I've dried it for a while, and what you want to do is ensure that the paper, or the pattern paper, is now flush with your circles, your cardboard circles. That's it. And then once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to then take your vintage photo, or any distress ink that you have, and then just distress the circle. Okay, once you've done that, so this is one piece that I've prepared a little while back, so the glue is completely dry. Now I have a crocodile, so what I'm going to do is I am going to use the 1/8 setting, and I am going to punch a hole in it. There's another brand as well from many of the different scrapbooking shops around here, so depending on what you have. But this is clear, and this is a fine one. If you look at this one here, I don't know if you can see it, but what I had used over here is I used a thick embossing powder here, and I was gifted this thick embossing powder by a friend or a lady on our Facebook group, South African Junk Journals, and she was so kind as to send me the thick embossing powder. So that's how that looks. And then this is just this embossing powder that I'm going to be using now, and the effect is a little bit different, something like glossy accents, but it's not glossy accents. It is called Anita's Clear 3D Glossy, but there's glossy accents as well that you can use, and then you can also use the Nouveau drops. If you are using any of those three, then you must remember that there is a drying time that is required, whereas if you are embossing, then you it's almost, you can use it almost immediately. Okay, so before you emboss the second side, I suggest that you just leave it there and allow it to dry a bit. So let's look at all the ones that we did complete, and let's see how we're going to use them on our tags. So here's a tag that I've got, and let's use this one here. Okay, so I've got I don't have the ball pins, just got an ordinary pin there, and I've got a little butterfly, and I've got a jump ring, and I've got 2 round nose pliers. Yes, this one is giving me some issues, but let's hope that it will last. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this jump ring. And the idea about working with a jump ring is that you move it back and forth, you don't open it up, left to right. You move it back and forth. Okay, and what we're going to do here is that we're going to try and get this in quickly, so as best as we can. Okay, so that's a better close there. Okay, so what I did is I actually put the pin, the little round part of the pin through there, and then I'm just going to add it to my card. Yes, so I'm sure if you have the ball pen, it will actually work out much better than this here. But here goes. I need to order some ball pens, and I'm actually looking at who would be a good supplier here in Gauteng. But yeah, that's it. So here we go, and you can use it any way you want to. Yeah, with our little butterfly. Okay, and then on this one over here, what I would do is that I would ensure that this is pretty dry now. I would ensure that I now emboss this side. And thank you for watching my video.